Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namah Anandalilamaya Vigrahaya Hemabhadyavyacchave Sundaraya Tasmai Mahaprema Rasapradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Bhaktyam Vedana Amaralase Chirtasakamani Naram Namate Devamahikam Sharanam Brahmana Vinde Namaste Sharanarvindam Vinde Namaste Sharanarvindam Govinda Damodara Madhavedi Govinda Damodara Madhavedi Govinda Damodara Madhavedi Govinda Damodara Madhavedi Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama Govinda Damodara Madhavedi Sham Sundar Skanchika Swaha Suri Manara Radhikar Skamama Kripanate Supriyachana King Kurim Kuru Tavayvasmi Tavas Najiva Vitayamina Jivikyaya Devi Tam Nama Sharantikam. First of all, I offer my Sastang Dandavat Puspanjali, my heart like flowers thousands and thousands of times at the lotus feet of my holy master, my supremely worshipable spiritual Gurudev, Asmatiya Paramaradatam Guru Pada Padma Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Vishnupada Ashtotara Satasri Rupanuga Charivarya Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Gosvami Maharaj. Secondly, I offer my pranam thousands of times at the lotus feet of my Param Gurudev and to Srila Prabhupada and to all of our Sri Rupananda Gaudiya Guru Parampara. And finally, I offer my pranam to all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. Panchatattva Vasandubhyaja Paditanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah. By the causes Masar Sri Guran Goranga, we are hearing some drops of nectar and some jewels from the Sandarbhas of Srila Jiva Gosvami. So, after discussing in brief Tattva Sandarbha and Bhagavad Sandarbha, now we come to Paramatma Sandarbha. In this Sandarbha, there are three main topics. First, the ontology, the nature of the existence of the Jivatma, the individual souls. Then, the nature, the functions, the activities of Paramatma, his role, and in which way he is distinct from the Jivas, and in which way, even though Paramatma is one feature of the Supreme Lord, but Bhagavan is distinct. So the third part of Paramatma Sandarbha explains how the subject matter, the main subject matter, which is being propounded, promoted, and explained in Srimad Bhagavatam is Bhagavan. You can understand Paramatma by understanding his own characteristics and in the ways in which he is different from Bhagavan, and Bhagavan is different from Paramatma. Though Paramatma is one perception of Bhagavan, but with the upadhis. When he has accepted the upadhis of Virat, Hiranyagarbha and Karana. We discussed that previously. Now, in regard to the individual soul, Srila Jiva Gosvami he is quoting from the Padma Purana and the commentary on the Padma Purana that was written by Jamatri Rishi. Jamatri Rishi is a very great Vaishnava, authentic, Pramanic Vyakti, an authentic person in the line of Sri Ramanujacharya. And there he has described in his commentary on Padma Purana how the Jiva has the qualities of Bhoktripta, Gyatritva and Kartripta. That he's a Gyata, he's a knower. He's a Bhokta, he's also an enjoyer. He's a Karta, he's an agent. He can initiate activity. So, that verse we discussed earlier, previously, let me say just last year, in the Berlin Festival. So, I don't want to elaborate on it, but you can see those classes from Berlin, the last festival there. We're going to bring up a very similar verse from the Prashna Upanishad. So, Prashna Upanishad 4.9. There it is said, Aisha hi drashta, sprashta, srota, rasaita, grata, manta, buddha, karta, vigyan, atma, purusha. So here the qualities of the atma and which are mentioned by Jamatri Rishi and more also are mentioned here. So it's a very complete one mantra of the Prashna Upanishad. So it means, Aisha hi, certainly, this Atma, the soul, he is drashta, a seer, one who sees. Sprashta, one who touches. He has the power to see, the power to touch. Srota, he has the power to hear. Rasaita, he has the power to taste. Grata, he has the power to smell aromas, to perceive fragrance. And he is very beautiful. He is Manta Swarup. Manta. He has the quality of Mantrita. He is a Manta Swarup. That means he can contemplate. He can reflect. Think. Consider. So he is Manta. And his very beautiful adjective here, he is Bodha. That means he can have understanding, awakening, realization. And he is Karta, the doer. He's an agent. Soul is an agent. And Vigyan. He is knowledge, and he also has the characteristic, the property of knowledge. He is conscious as a substance, he's a conscious substance. And he also has the property of consciousness. So, one of the things that Jamatri Rishi says is that the Jiva is not just Gyan Matra. Gyan Matra means only consciousness. Patanjali said that the Jiva is Gyan Matra, only consciousness. And in the Sankhya philosophy also, the Jiva is only consciousness. That means that he only has awareness, but he does not have agency, he cannot initiate activities. In Nyaya and Vaisheshik, even the Jiva only has consciousness when he is connected with the material energy. And then the character of consciousness manifests. And when he's disconnected, then he's inert. When he's liberated. You see? So these characteristics are very specific to Vedanta. Now, that the Jiva is conscious is common with the Sankhya and the Yoga philosophy of Kapil Deva and Patanjali, respectively. But they say the Jiva is Gyan Matra. He's only consciousness. That means he does not have all these other characteristics. Because also in his liberated state, separated from matter, then there's nothing to see, nothing to smell, nothing to touch, nothing to taste, nothing to think about, nothing to realize. You see? So, all of these characteristics of the soul, we cannot say the soul is only consciousness, because he has these other potencies as well. The Paramatma, the Jiva, is not a direct part of Krishna, but he is a direct part of Krishna's part. Paramatma. So the Jiva is called Paramatma Vaibhava. He is a manifestation of the glory, the opulence, the splendor of Paramatma. Specifically, Paramatma has an energy. See, Krishna is always interacting with Swarup Shakti, his internal potency. But the Paramatma, he has a Shakti called Tatastha Shakti, the marginal potency. And so the Jiva is like one particle in the rays of Paramatma's Tatastha Shakti. And that Jiva, he is Eshahi Drastas Prastas Rota Rasaita Graha Manta Bodha Karta Vigyanatma Purushaha. He's a person. Purusha means he's a person. And he has all of these potencies. The Paramatma has given him Jnana, Icha and Kriya. The power to know, the power to desire, and the power to act, to be an agent and act. So these three, they go in order. First, Jnana, the power to know. If you don't know anything, you can't want anything. So Jnana, then Icha, if you know something, you can want something. You can have desire. But if you desire, but you have no power to initiate an activity, then it's also useless. So, Gyan, Icha, Kriya, power to be an agent. Now, as you know, in Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says, Prakrite kriyamanani gunaye karmani sarvashaha ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. The conditioned soul, bewildered by false ego, thinks himself karta, the doer of is not karta, Atma is not the doer. But here Krishna does not say Atma is not the doer. He said Atma is not the doer of the activities which are done by Prakriti. So, but he's saying here, karta hamiti manyate, the jiva thinks that he's doing those activities that Prakriti, the material energy, is doing. So thinking is also an activity. Manyate, he is thinking. So this is also an activity, so it means that he is karta. So in Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says that Mamaivang so jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. This jiva is my amsa, my expansion. Sometimes in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna speaks as if he's Paramatma speaking. So he's my expansion. For example, when Krishna says Samoham sarva bhuteshu, I'm equal to everyone. Then this is like the mood of Paramatma. So here, when he said Sarva Shachaham Riti Sani Visto Mataksvitika, I am in the heart of everyone giving knowledge, remembering. So sometimes he speaks like that, this is Paramatma. But later in Gita he makes a distinction between himself and Paramatma, where he says that Ishvara Sava Bhutanam Rideshaduna Tishtati. Oh, the Ishvara of all living entities is in the heart of every living entity. And he's speaking now in the third person about Paramatma. Then he says, Tameva Sharam Gacha, surrender to him. So at the end of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna speaks about Paramatma like he's someone else. And Paramatma is in everyone's heart, surrender to him. And then later he said, Manmana Bhava Madbhakta. Absorb your mind in me. Sarva Dharman Pratyaja Mamekam Shanam Raja. Give up all material dharmas and surrender to me. So sometimes Krishna speaks in Bhagavad Gita as if he's Paramatma. But in the conclusion he makes very strong distinction between Paramatma and himself Bhagavan. So here we're discussing Mamaivam so jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. Then Mana shastrani driyani prakriti-stani karshati. The living entity, Prabhupada translates as, he is struggling. He's situated in the material energy and he's struggling with the six senses headed by the mind. Now, if you look at this verse, it says Prakriti-stani karshati. He is, karshati means he's attracting. Mana shastani driyani, the mind, the six senses headed by the mind. So the meaning here is this, that the jiva, he has icha, desire. And just as a magnet can attract iron filings towards itself, so in the same way the jiva, by his desire, he draws the senses towards himself. We think of senses as being the fleshly organs, like the ear, the nose, but these actual physical organs are actually the seats of the sensory powers. And the sensory powers themselves are actually atoms, they're atomic. So the Atma is in the heart and he's surrounded by the five atoms of the five senses and the mind. And by his desire he draws them towards himself. So this is the meaning. Prakriti-stani karshati. Mana shastani indriyani prakriti-stani karshati. So the jiva is the doer. What is he doing? By his desire karshati. This is an active verb. He is attracting. It's an active verb. So the Atma is karta, but what is he doing? By his desire, he's drawing the senses towards himself and the mind, and he's identifying with the mind. But now the three gunas are active in these mind and senses, and they're acting. And so that's the three gunas are doing all the activities of the people of the world, and they are thinking I'm doing these activities, but they're not. What they're doing is by their will, they're drawing the mind and senses towards themselves, and then the three gunas are doing all the activities. So understand it in this way. Don't think Atma is not karta. Atma is karta, but what is the karta of? And what is the Prakriti, what are the material elements they perform, doing? By the Kriya Shakti in the material elements. So make that important distinction. So, the Jiva is not only consciousness. Now, let's discuss this word bheda-abheda-tattva. Jamatri Rishi in Paramatma Sandarbhas uses the phrase Swasmai Swayam Prakash. So Swayam Prakash means Swayam self Prakash, illuminating. So the Jiva, being made of Jnana, consciousness, is a substance. And so that substance is luminous. By material eyes we cannot see, but those who have a spiritual vision, they can see. So the illumination emanating from the soul reveals himself to others. And from the soul there is a Gyan Vritti, which extends beyond itself. Just in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna said, just as the sun is in one place but spreads its light everywhere, so the soul is in one place but spreads its consciousness throughout the body. So the soul is Gyan, consciousness, and also has the property of consciousness that is called Gyan Vritti, the function of consciousness which extends beyond itself. If you take fire, fire is a substance, and it also has a property called heat or light. So in the same way, the soul is a substance, it's a Gyan Swarup, made of consciousness, but it also has a property of consciousness which extends from itself. That's called the Jnana Vritti. You see? So by its substance itself, Gyan Swarup, and by its Gyan Vritti, it is luminous, that means can be seen by others, and can also illuminate other things. This is the meaning of Swayam Prakash. Just like a candle is Swayam Prakash, you see the candle and the candle can help you see other things. But the candle is not self-aware. The candle doesn't know, I am a candle and I am illuminating this room. And when the candle illuminates a table in a dark room, the candle is not aware, oh, here is a table. So something has to be added to Swayam Prakash, Swasmai. Asmai, that means unto himself, Swasmai, unto himself. So he's self-luminous, revealing himself and revealing other things, and also revealed to himself. He's self-aware, and he's also aware of the things that his Gyan Vritti is illuminating. So this is the meaning of the Jiva is Swasmai Swayam Prakash, or in this verse of Prashna Upanishad, Vijnanatma Purushaha. But he's not only Gyan Matra, because he has these other capabilities. Now, in Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 13, Sri Krishna speaks about Kshetra and Kshetrajna. The field and the knower of the field. So the field is, and Krishna lists everything in the field. All the elements of the material world, they are the field. Oh, just coming back to the subject of being the doer. In Vedanta Sutra it says, Shastrartha Kartatvat. Shastrartha Kartatvat means, Karta Shastrarthatvat. Karta Shastrarthatvat means the living entity, the soul, is the doer because of the meaning of the scriptures. Karta Shastrarthatvat. So, if you see in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says there's the field and the knower of the field. And the field is all the material energy. Earth, water, fire, air, ether. Everyone can accept that. Yes, it's the field. Earth, water, fire, air, ether. But then it starts to get a bit tricky. Mind, intelligence, ego, and chitta. All the aspects of the subtle body. And Krishna said the transformations of the subtle body, such as happiness and distress, attachment and aversion, desires. These things are part of the field. And this is the problem in our life. If you have a problem, it is because though you are Ketragya, the knower of the field, you are thinking you are the field. Because now I am happy, now I am in distress, now I want this, now my desire is not fulfilled, now I am upset. This is all the field, not the knower of the field. So, the field is inert material energy. It's dead. I gave the example how in your body, your nails have no feeling. You can cut them, your hair, you can cut them, you don't feel it. So in the same way, the material energy is Krishna's inert energy. It has no sentience at all. We only feel as if the mind is alive and sentient because the Gyan Vritti of the Atma has spread out and is illuminating the mind and we are identifying with it. So, because all the material elements are dead, then Karta Shastra Tattvat, the Jiva must be the doer because of the meaning of the scripture. Because the scriptures give us instructions. Uttishtata, Jagrata, Prapta, Varam, Nibodhata in the Upanishads. Get up, wake up, and try to attain the goal of your life. Satyam Bada, speak the truth. Dharmachara, follow your dharma. So the scriptures give instructions. Now, if the Jiva were not the doer, then how could the scripture give instruction to it? If everything was just being done by matter, and matter is inert, has no sentience, then the scriptures, who are they talking to? If the Jiva is not the doer, if the scripture is speaking to the Jivas, do this, and the Jiva say, hey, don't bother me, I'm not the doer. So then the scriptures have to speak to the material energy, do this. But the material energy is unconscious like a fingernail. So the scriptures cannot make any sense unless we accept that Atman is the doer. So therefore in Vedanta Sutra, it is said, Karta, the soul is the doer. Why? Shastra Tattva, because of the meaning of the scriptures. If the Jiva were not the doer, the scriptures would be completely meaningless. Talking to someone who cannot do, or talking to someone who cannot hear them. Right? It just makes no sense. Therefore, the soul is Karta. Now, Chaitanya. Srila Jiva Gosvami is discussing in Paramatma Sandarbhas that the mind and the body, they are upadis. Upadis means designations which are superimposed on the Jiva. It's very interesting. In India, let's say if someone gets a title, they become the chief minister, and then they have to be addressed as something. Oh, Your Honor. They become an ambassador. Your Excellency. So these things are called titles. Upadi. They're called upadis. What is? Oh, how should I address you? Oh, you can call me Your Excellency. I do many programs with international ambassadors. So you have to know how to address each person. So the ambassador, oh, Your Excellency. But this is upadi. It's not really part of the person. When he was born, when he was a baby in his mother's arms, no one said, oh, Your Excellency. And when do with Atma really. The relationship between Atma and the body and mind is the same as the relationship between the horns and a rabbit. Have you ever seen a rabbit's horns? No? Maybe you've seen a cow in a field with horns. But have you seen a rabbit with horns? No. So the same relationship is between your Atma and your body and mind. This relationship. Nothing. No relationship at all. But we are thinking we are this body. Why? So, another example of upadi. If there is a crystal and you hold a red rose next to the crystal, if you look at the crystal now, some red is being reflected here and there, and it seems to be part of the crystal. So the redness is not a property of the crystal, the redness is the property of the rose. But it appears to be that it's a property of a crystal, but it's actually the upadi of the crystal. So, the crystal is not changing, but the rose is changing. It's opening in the sun and closing. But it looks now as if the crystal is changing. So in the same way, the Atma is immutable, Atma is not changing. But his Jnana Vritti, the property of the Atma, has extended into the Chitta. And the Chitta is transforming into all the objects our senses come in contact with. And so it seems like the soul is being affected by different experiences. The Chitta also degrades, it devolves into the ego, it devolves into the buddhi, intelligence, it devolves into the mind. So then, all of these internal components, the ego, I am the doer of the material activities. The function of the ego is a kartritva related to the material energy. I am the material agent. But this agency is only coming from samskars, impressions of past activities. Na kartritvam na karmani lokasya srijaji prabhu, Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita. The Jiva does not initiate his activities. What happens? The ego is called a vasanamayi ahankar. It's made out of a concentrated mass of impressions of past life's activities. And they're in the subconscious, and they come into the conscious mind, and then we follow along with them. So the activities of the materialist are initiated from the samskars emanating from his ego. So he's completely in illusion. So the upadi of the chitta, all the psychological body, chitta, ahankar, buddhi and manas, this is an upadi on the Jnana Vritti of the Atma. Just like the redness of a rose on a crystal. So when an upadi is superimposed onto the consciousness of the soul, this superimposition is called adhyas. Adhyas means superimposition. So the Shakti of Maya, which accomplishes the superimposition of the Upadi onto the Jnana Vritti of the Jiva, is called Avidya. Avidya. Now you know what is avidya. It's very interesting because we use this word all the time. Ignorance. Ignorance. But what is that ignorance? So ignorance here is the avidya vritti of Maya, part of the Jiva Maya, which is accomplishing the adhyas, the superimposition of the upadis onto the consciousness of the Jiva. And now he's thinking, we advise that acting in the material world. So, Gyan means to be able to, knowledge means to distinguish between Ketra and Ketragya. So just as the avidya-vritti of Maya makes the adhyas, the superimposition, so the vidya-vritti of Maya takes away the superimposition. So that is sattva-gun. From sattva-gun, sattvat sanjayate jnanam. From Gita Krishna says, from sattva-gun comes Gyan, which means the ability to distinguish between Ketragya, the knower of the field, and the field itself. Canto 10, chapter 87, verse 38. Sayadajaya twajam anusaita gunang stajushan bhajati sarupatam tadanumrityam apeta bagaha tvamutajahasitam ahi iva tvacham atapago mahasi mahiyase stagunite parimeya bagaha. The Vedas personify a brain. Saying that Sayad Ajaya Twajam Anusaita Gunam Chajusham. The Jiva, due to the influence of Maya, embraces ignorance. So, by our will, we like Maya very much. We are the doer. We are attracting the mind and senses. Manashastani Dhyati Praktisthana Kashti. We are to like this. So due to the influence of Maya, the Jiva embraces ignorance and delights in her qualities. How wonderful is this material world? I can relish so many things. And the Jiva, he adopts a suitable form in order to enjoy the qualities of material nature. In Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna said, Prakriti Purushe stohi bhumte Purusha Prakriti stohi bhumte Prakriti jan gunan karnam guna sangosya sadasad yoni janmasu. The Purusha, the soul, Purusha Prakriti stohi, is situated in Prakriti, the material energy. Bhumte Prakriti jan gunan, and he is enjoying the gunas. Some people that like Rajagun, some people like Tamagun, some people like a little bit of Sattvagun. So he's trying to enjoy. And in accordance, Karnam Guna Sangosya Sadasa Yoni Janmasu, according to which gunas he's associating with, he's taking birth again and again in higher and lower species. So if a person is involved with the higher gunas, he goes up. If he's enjoying the lower gunas, he goes down. So relative to his position, whatever he's tasting, the soul takes birth in different births in those corresponding directions. So, and thereby, the Jiva, he suffers death. In this verse, it says, Tad anumrityam. Therefore, anumrityam, he suffers repeated birth and death. Apaita bhagaha. Bhagaha means his fortune. You know, Bhagavan? Bhagavan is who possesses fortune. So the Jiva possesses fortune also. But when he becomes involved in Maya, then he's apaita bhagaha. He becomes completely bereft of fortune. So what does that mean? Though the Jiva, Eshahi drastas prastas srota rasaya Advaita, Grapa, Manta, Bodha, Karta, Vijnanatma. He has all of these qualities. He has other qualities as well. He's also Ananda. He has Ananda. The happiness or the satisfaction of his soul. This is not the Ananda of the Ladini Shakti, but it is a self-satisfaction. It is not a positive happiness, but it is called the Dukkha-anubhava. Dukkha Pratiyogita. Dukkha Pratiyogita means it is the abhava of suffering. It is the absence of suffering. So when it is said the Atma, and it has the quality of Ananda, is Satchidananda. Here, Ananda means that he has Dukkha Pratiyogita, the absence of suffering. So he is at ease, undisturbed. And also another quality the soul has. He is Premaspada. Premaspada. Aspad means the seed. The locus of love. So that doesn't mean that the Jiva actually has Prem. But it means that his purpose is to attain Prem. And until that purpose is fulfilled, he's always looking for that. This is what it means that the Jiva is Premaspad. Because in this world, everyone's looking for love. And if anything is dear to you, it's dear to you because of the Atma. You see? Like Yajnavalkya instructed his wife, Maitreyi. He said that the husband is not dear because he's the husband, but he's dear because of the Atma. You see? Someone is a husband because there was a ceremony that the husband became married to that female's body. So he's dear because of the relation to the body. But the body is dear because the Atma is there. So the foundation of things being dear to us is actually our Atma. And the Atma is dear to himself because in the Atma there is Paramatma. That is the natural affection which is nir-upadik. It's swabhavik, it's natural, it's not nir-upadik, something superimposed. You see? A quality can be something that you have naturally or something that's enforced on you. You see? So the relationship between Atma and Paramatma, this is completely natural. Whereas all the other types of love, they are superimpositions. They are from upadis. Yet, unless the soul if the soul were not Premaspad, having the capacity or the purpose, the telos, to love, then even with the upadis, then nothing could be dear to you. You understand? It's just like there is a false ego that makes us think that we are the doer. But if the soul didn't have his own ego, that he is the doer, that could be projected onto that, then there could not be a false ego. Unless the soul had the capacity to see, hear, taste and smell, then that capacity could not be projected into the material energy. So, Sukama Asorsam Nakinchidabedisam in the Upanishads, it is said, someone said, oh, how did you sleep? Oh, I slept very happily. I didn't know anything. So it means that when we go to sleep, we dream, but then we go into deep sleep. That's called happy sleep. Because dreams are all weird. Dreams are quite bizarre. Unless you are very pure. If you have a very pure mind and the vrittis of bhakti are there, then you have spiritual dreams. But otherwise, the dreams is not real happiness. But you go into deep sleep. And when you have deep sleep, then the senses are dissolved, mind is dissolved, ego is dissolved. But when you wake up, you remember, oh, I I was so blissful. That means that when the material ego is dissolved, you still have an ego. So, Sukhamaham avapsam nakinchit avedisham. This praman is given from the Upanishads that a person wakes up and says, oh, I slept very well. This is the proof that behind the material ego, there's the real ego. If there were not a real ego of the soul, a sense of I, that's called aham artha, the sense of I, then that could not be reposed in the material energy. Because the material energy has no awareness. The material energy doesn't think I am this or I am that. It's just inert. So these are some proofs of that the soul has its own individual personal identity. Sense of I-ness, aham artha. Now, we're discussing this verse, 1087-38, where the Vedas personified say that when the living entity embraces Maya, then at that time, apeta bhaga, he loses all of his fortune. So what is the bhaga, the fortune that he loses? All of these things. He loses his gyatritva, that means to know himself. He loses his kartritva. He hasn't lost it, but it's become dormant. Because by his kartritva, he has given himself and embraced the material energy. And now he's forgotten everything. And his doership, now the material energy is doing everything. So his kartrita becomes dormant, his gyatrita, knowledge of himself, becomes dormant. His matrita, his manta swarup, that he's a thinker. He's not thinking anymore, he's just... material mind is so-called thinking, but these are just impressions rolling around, according with the laws of karma. So that he's premaspada. His purpose is to love God. That he's ananda, completely free from any suffering. So these are all called the bhaga. These are the innate treasures of the soul, by which we understand it. The soul is not jnana mantra, just consciousness, just an impersonal awareness. No, he has here bhaga, some fortune, but it becomes, all that fortune becomes dormant. It's not lost, it doesn't disappear, it's lost to him. Apeta bhaga. So, in this way, we've discussed characteristics of Atma and how Atma is the Vaibhav of Paramatma. Now we come to some qualities of Paramatma. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13, verse 23. Oh, you should all deliberate on these things very carefully. Because many persons, they start to cry, oh, Gurudev, they have a problem. The problem is in your mind. And only you are identifying with that. This is the only problem. There are not many different problems. That you have to get all these specific answers to all these different problems. The problem is the same and the answer is the same. Please, don't be in ignorance. If a person is just in sattva guna, what to speak of transcendental bhakti? A person just in sattva guna doesn't have any problems. Because he can discriminate between the field and the knower of the field. So in this chapter 13 of Bhagavad Gita, you can see, take the verse to see. The Paramatma is described. In this chapter, Krishna has said that there is another Ketragya, another knower of the field. And that is Paramatma. But the difference between us, Ketragya, and that Ketragya is this, that we are the Ketragya, we are only knower of the field of our own body and mind. and what is disclosed to our sensory perceptions. Whereas Paramatma, he is one, but he is the knower of all fields. He knows everything. He's in every atom and in every heart. So he's aware. Everything that you know, he knows also. But he's one in everyone's heart. And we are many in the individual bodies. And now, Krishna is describing Paramatma in this verse. Upadrastanumanta cha Varta Bhokta Maheshwaraha Paramatmeti chapyukto Dehishmin Purushapara. So he's saying, after describing how the Atma is the Ketragya of the body, he's saying, Dehishmin, in this body, Purushapara, there's another Purush. Don't think you're the only Purush. Purusha Prakrihistohi. Don't think you're the only Purush in here. There's another one. So Dehishmin Purusha Para. In this body, there's another Purush. And Paramatmeti Chapyukto. Ukta means he is called Paramatma. Paramatmeti. It is used, it's like speech marks. He is called Paramatma. Iti means this. Paramatmeti Chapyukto. And his quality is this. Upadrasta Anumanta Cha Bharta Bhokta Maheshwara. He is Maheshwara, the supreme controller. He is Bhokta, the supreme enjoyer. In this world, all the sacrifices of Varnashram Dharma are for that Vishnu. Yagya Vai Vishnu, Yagya Tat Kamanonyatra. So let's say in Varnashram Dharma, what to speak of performing fire sacrifice, let's just say your duties of Varna and Ashram. So if you are a Brahmin, then you have Brahminical duties. If you're a Kshatriya, you have to protect the people and give punishment to the criminals and so on. If you're a Sudra, then you have to do your various types of work or art, musicians and also actors and so on. They're all Sudras. So, but someone is doing their duty and the duties are yagya, sacrifice. Being married is not, oh, let's get married, we'll love each other. Woo! Butterflies. We'll have fun. No. Being married is called Vivaha Yagya. Vivaha Yagya. V means intense. Baha means carrying. Means the husband accepts the responsibility to carry all the necessities of this other human being called the wife. Dharam Patni. Dharam Patni. That means your partner in Dharma. Not wifey. Dharam Patni. Dharam Patni. Your partner in Dharma. And Vivaha Yagya Vivaha. The man is making a promise to provide her with everything that she needs. That's his dharma. So doing that's his yagya, his sacrifice. To whom? To Vishnu. So Bhakta here, Vishnu is the enjoyer of everything. Now the wife, what is her yagya? She has to accept her husband like God and serve him like that. Making the house very nice. When he comes back from work, then she's giving food. While he's eating, she's fanning him. After taking something to eat, then he takes rest and she massages his feet. Like Lakshmi Devi serving Lord Narayan. This is what? It's a yagya. It's a yagya. Huh? It's a yagya. It's not a Disney movie. It's a sacrifice. And the enjoyer, the bhakta is Paramatma. The truth of the matter is the wife is not serving the husband. She's doing a yagya for Paramatma. So this is why people get all confused. Oh, Vedic society is very bad. It oppresses women. It's backward. Now we are enlightened with feminism. smash the patriarchy. So this is all Satanism actually. It is completely ignorant and against Dharma. So in Vedic society, those who are situated in Varnashram, everyone has a Varna, everyone has an ashram, and according to their Varna ashram they have duties. And doing these duties is a yajna, like a Brahmin doing a fire yajna. When the Khatri goes out, there's some criminals, they've stolen something, and he shoots them and kills them. This is his yajna. Swaha. So, in this way, everyone in society becomes connected with God. But not Bhagavan. Vishnu. Yagyavai Vishnu. So that's the meaning of the word here, Bhokta. Bhokta means Paramatma is the enjoyer. In Vedic society, everyone is doing everything, not for themselves, but for Vishnu, the form of God who is present, immanent within all things. You understand? It's an amazing sight. So then there's complete equality. Because every single person has an equal opportunity to please Vishnu. Right? You cannot look for material equality because it does not exist. This world is always full of hierarchies. You cannot get rid of them. It's a mad conception to think that you can get rid of them. So Vedic society accepts the natural hierarchies created by God, and within that there's complete equality. Everyone can progress in transcendental knowledge by performing their duties. So this is the meaning of Bhokta here, related to Paramatma. Then Bharta. I am the supporter. Bharta literally means husband, because the husband has to support the wife. Here he's saying, actually I am supporting everybody. And so the real husband is Vishnu in the heart. Now, the first line, Upadrasta Anumanta. Upadrasta means I am the witness. I am the witness. I am watching everything. But not interfering. So this is the speciality of Paramatma. Bhagavan has unlimited leelas with his variegated potencies. But Paramatma has leela which is connected to the external energy and the jivas. And this is called Shrishti Leela, the creation pastime. So he does the Shrishti Leela, creation pastime, and his activity is to be Shakshi. He is the witness of everything. Upadrasta, Anumanta, and I am the permitter. The permitter. That means I give an anuman, anumiti. I allow things to happen. This is also very important. In Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna is with Arjuna, and Arjuna asked the question, Oh Krishna, sometimes a person knows what he should do, but he doesn't do it. He knows what he shouldn't do, but he feels something forcing him to do what he should not do, even against his will. So Arjuna says, Oh my Lord, by what is a person forced to act, even against his own will? Now, someone may say, it's either his samskars, his own impressions are forcing him, because he did sins in the previous life, so the impression is there. Now that samskar impression is coming from the subconscious mind into the conscious mind, and he's saying, now I have to enjoy this adharmic, unmeritorious, illicit way. So one could say, his samskars are forcing him. Or we could say, God is in control of everything. So the Paramatma made him do it. Then you'll be like Duryodhana. Duryodhana said, oh, I know what is right, but I cannot do it. I know what is wrong and I cannot stop myself. But anyway, it's not my fault. I am the way that God made me. So it's God's fault. So, is it your own sanskaras making you do these things? Or is it Paramatma? Arjuna is asking this question. What does Krishna reply? Kama esha krodha esha rajaguna samudbhava. No. It cannot be impressions because samskaras are just pictures. If someone shows you a picture of some sinful act, the picture is not going to force you. Right? So when the pictures come in your mind, the samskaras are not forcing you. And Paramatma, here, is upadrashta, he's just watching. So don't think God is telling you, do this thing. No, God inspired me, I did it, it all went wrong. It was God's fault. No. Paramatma's upadrashta is just watching. But kama esha krodha esha raja guna samudbhava. It is calm. Avritam jnanam etena Jnanino vit nityavarina. Krishna said, this calm, lust is your enemy and it is covering your knowledge. So here calm means avidya. It means avidya. So it's due to only avidya. We discussed that is the power of Maya which makes the adhyas, superimposition on of the upadhi, on the jnana vritti of the soul. But it only does that when we want rajagun. So, kama esha krodha esha rajaguna samudbhava. The soul wants to taste rajagun. If the soul wanted to taste sattvagun, the vidya vritti would come and remove that adhyas. Actually, only bhakti can remove it completely. But sattvagun gives you some discrimination. But to remove it completely, only bhakti can. Because sattvagun is never completely pure. But bhakti is vishuddha, the nature of vishuddha. So these are some of the implications of Krishna describing Paramatma. Upadrashta, anumanta. No, due to ignorance, then you act. And Paramatma, because we cannot act without the sanction of Paramatma, so anumanta cha, he allows it, he sanctions it, but it's not his fault. He's not initiating it. So we'll just complete our discussion of Jivatma and Paramatma for this morning. Try to digest all these things. And then in the evening, we'll go more deeply into the implications of Paramatma in this world. And how Paramatma is, though he is, the perception of Paramatma is really Bhagavan, but a limited perception of Bhagavan. But how Bhagavan is quite distinct. What are the distinct characteristics of Bhagavan in comparison with Paramatma? We'll discuss in